Hello, I'm so glad you're all here, and we're really excited to have a couple great speakers tonight, but we'd like to start with a Pledge of Allegiance and the prayer. So let's pledge allegiance first. Well, we still can.
That's right.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, I just thank you so much for letting us all meet here tonight and have the freedom to be together and discuss ideas. And I just thank you for these people that are hardworking people that just want to see their country back the way it used to be. I ask that you bless this meeting and bless the speakers, and let us all have safe travel home. Amen.
Amen.
So, there is a man named Jonathan Zachariou who is very brave, and
because I'm trying to make talking to
he ran for California Congress,
Assembly.
State Assembly, and he's going to tell us what that was all about, what that was like, the travails of running for office in California as a conservative, and what his plans are for the future. So, Jonathan?
You know, I usually don't write notes, and I wrote some notes so I'd stay disciplined tonight, because I know I'm just a warm-up for Sheriff Scott, Sheriff Jones. He's on his way, by the way, and when he shows up, I've been given strict orders to end. So I might be mid-sentence, so it'll be like, and then I saw... My name is Jonathan Zachariou. I am, by calling and vocation, a pastor in Davis, California. I live in Natomas, and I ran for the 7th against Roger Dickinson.
Yes.
I got it. Thank you very much. Yeah, please stop. And one of the people that was instrumental in getting me completely mixed up in this was Michelle, the lady who just introduced me and who's part of your leadership here. And this meeting was one of my first, and I think it was actually my first organized appeal, other than the California Republican, or the Sacramento County Republican leadership. I presented to them when I was still doing my paperwork as a candidate. I began my race 2 days before the deadline in March of last year. I became a candidate within 2 days and did some crazy fundraising to just be able to put in my paperwork. If you plan to run for office, be rich first, just for the paperwork. I mean, just before you even start running for office. But I am an idealist pragmatist. I'm a pragmatist idealist. And I am inspired very much by the life and achievement of Ronald Reagan. I like the man because he was never supposed to win anything. He was never supposed to be anyone of significance. And even when he was a man of significance, all his critics continue to unload on him and say that he was a man of no substance and just an actor. And we saw what he was able to do with his leadership, principled leadership, that I think we need to return to in our country. I'm going to try and remember one of my own quotes that I just posted on Facebook the other day after being incredibly frustrated with the continued political environment in our state and our nation. And that is that it is my observation that many people will adjust their principles to fit politics, to win power for power's sake, just to win. And there are others who, based on principles, will adjust their politics in order to win and lead. We need politicians that are going to win the day, win the elections. We need to have a strategy as a party and as a people, more than a party, as a people, that is going to say we want to stand behind those who will best represent us and make sure they win. I am not standing up here as a bitter losing political person. I was not bitter at all. It was an honor for me to be a candidate, an absolute honor to the core of my being, to be able to appeal to voters, to lend me their vote. I don't think any candidate owns the votes. They are lent by citizens. And I think what we need to do, along with other things, is get back to just passing from one to another. And this group is very good at doing it already, but that we would continue the effort of passing along to other citizens what the value of a citizen is and what the value of the vote is. And no matter what is going on, to get voters back to the booths again, back to the voting booths. A few observations that I had, Michelle asked me to bring some observations that I had as a candidate. A few things that I found out is that the conservative vote was very depressed this last year, before it happened. And I had more pushback from conservatives as a candidate in many cases than I did from liberals. Like, who are you anyway? And, you know, what are you going to do? Why are you in this? And I just kept smiling and understanding that there's a fatigue of loser candidates. How many of us are, without pointing out anyone who has lost, and when I say loser, I don't mean that they're losers as humans. I'm talking about candidacies that lose. I'm one of them. How many of you are tired of people like me losing? It's like, see, I'm not trying to point to someone else. I have joined the long ranks of losing Republicans, but I've learned from it. I've learned a lot from it. I learned that I ran out of money too soon, I ran out of volunteers too soon, and I ran out of time. And I was told all of these things by people who have political and conventional wisdom, that I would need money, I would need volunteers, I would need time. They told me that my race wasn't worth it for me to even get in because I would lose. I got into my race wanting to win, but I knew that everything I had been told was true. I knew that everything was lined up against me to beat me, and it did. But I did it for us. And there are many candidates that are standing out there doing it for us. Standing out there and putting themselves out there for the good of our country, not just of our party. A couple of thoughts about the party. I think we do need to reshape our party. We need to reinvigorate our party. We need to redefine our party. But we need to stop cutting down our party. We have a good name. You know, I know you know this, but we have a few stars in our ranks in our history in the past. One of them was Lincoln. We just made a movie about him. Pretty good, but it still didn't, I don't think it focused in the amount of respect and honor there needed to be for that historic figure. I think it was insinuated, and those who know about Lincoln's life could read into it, but I don't think that movie did justice for what that man stood for and what he stood against and what he earned. It's the Republican Party that is the emancipating party. It's the Republican Party that's the Civil Rights Party. Martin Luther King Jr., Republican. Why isn't every one of our posters when we're running Martin Luther King Jr. and then a small picture of me on the side? I'm actually thinking about that. If I run again, it'll just be MLK Jr., Republican.
That's right.
Why do we run from it? Because we've allowed the opposition to define us. We've allowed the opposition to tell us what we can and can't say. We've allowed the opposition not only to define us, but then afterwards define themselves as us. Did you notice how many people got elected by talking conservative?
That's right.
The conservative message is not a message of yesterday, and it does not need to change. For all the push and pull, I think what we need to pay attention to is our message needs to be more relative to the voters right now. We need to re-articulate. We need to get away from push-button words that cause knee-jerk reactions. One of them is, like, for instance, pro-life. Now, I am pro-life, but if you use pro-life in politics, it's this whole, the cloud comes. I am never going to not want babies to be born. Did you hear what I just said? Yeah. I'm never going to not want babies to be born. And then I want to appeal to everyone else. Do you not want babies ever to be born? Well, no, I love babies being born. Then we agree. You're a Republican. That's all. And let them come. No, but the woman's right to choose. Oh, I'm totally for a woman's right to choose. Absolutely. You know, a woman needs to make an educated choice. So let's perform ultrasounds and really allow women to understand what their options are. I am for women who are in crisis pregnancies. I don't hate them. I love them. But one of the things I tell them, because I love them, is the truth. The best thing you can do is have your baby. Bar none. And if you perform an abortion, I don't hate you. but you're about to kill one of the best things that's ever going to happen in your life. Why isn't that our message? Because the other side has defined us as horrible people who want babies to be born. Really? What do politicians always hold for a photo op? Right? So they use the babies when it's good for them, and then they come out. What we need to expose is how much money is behind abortion? How many billions of dollars are being used? How is it being funneled to politicians? And tell the story. Tell it with a smile. And say, you know what? We know what your motive is. Ask us what our motive is to have babies. We love families. What's your motive to want to abort? Put them on their heels. Just for instance. And you and I, we're conservatives, but we're not trying to conserve this status quo. How many of you want to keep things the way they are now? So when we get pegged as people who just want to keep things the way they are. No, absolutely not. You want to go back. No, we don't want to go back. We really want to go forward. We should not allow the other side to tell us that we are the people who want to go to the past and people who want to live in the past and people who want to bring back the past. I don't want to bring back the past. I want a better future for California and for America. Another point I made in my notes, which is just kind of scrolling through my head. I forgot my teleprompter. But another one of the things that I'm remembering is, and I just forgot it, I should have made the teleprompter joke. Let's see, we're talking about. Well, articulating our ideas, and that's what I was talking about previously. We have to articulate our ideas in a new way, with new language. Let us create catchphrases that put our opponents on their heels. Okay, here's another point. Another point is, so California has supermajority going, right? We have the governor. The governor makes sure he told the legislature, you better not overspend. It was phenomenal. I loved his State of the State address. Now we got everything, let's not blow it. And the legislature's like, yeah, right. They're spending. I don't know if you know that, but they're spending. And I think something we need to do is, we need to stop telling them how to fit what is wrong, just pointing it out, and then telling them, you should be doing this. I think what we need to do is say, hey, what did you promise, and how are you fulfilling your promises? Even though we totally disagree. How many of you think there's enough money in education? Right? Before 30. They had 30 and 38? Yeah. Okay, so now we don't turn around and say, hey, there isn't enough money in it, or there's too much money in education. What I think we need to do is start saying, okay, you got 2 tax raises. Why aren't all schools staying open? All schools. That's what they promised. All schools staying open. Every time a school closure happens, we need to stand in front of it with signs. Why are you closing the school? Remember 30. I don't agree with spending any more money. I don't. How many of you want to spend more money? I don't want to spend more. But we should stand there going, why aren't you spending the money? You're collecting our money. You promised you'd keep the schools open. Then they're going to say, well, these are superfluous schools. These neighborhoods don't have children anymore. And then we need to say, 40 children aren't important to you? That's exactly what we need to say. Even, well, the schools, you know, it's for 950, we can consolidate. No, they have to go to another environment. What kind of psychological damage will happen to these children? Children will be scarred. Why would you do that? And then we will have liberals agreeing with us. Yeah! Why are you closing my school? Because the problem in America, and especially in California, not all of America, but especially California, our problem is me-centeredness. That's the problem. There's no more what's good for the no more greater good idea. It's all what accommodates me. So I say let's put some momentum behind that and really push them to their end quicker. Yeah, how come you're not fixing everybody's problem? You raise taxes, why aren't all the schools staying open? You raise taxes, why don't people have jobs? You said you'd produce jobs, where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? We passed 30, we, not you, we. It's our, anybody else paying taxes in this room except for me? I'm about to pay my property tax bill. It's our money. So we say, we. Where is our school? Keep our school. If you have a school in your neighborhood and they're talking about closing it, Not only do you need to go and complain about, if you agree it needs to close because you do the numbers, don't go there. You go show up and say, why are you closing this school? Because I am sick and tired of us being responsible, them being irresponsible, and them throwing it back on the responsible and saying, it's your fault. No, it's not my fault anymore. I am joining the irresponsible and asking you the question, why aren't you doing what you promised? I think that's a winning strategy in California. Put the governor under pressure, not to correct it. We shouldn't correct anything anymore. We should be the party of the alternative. We're the alternative to all this mess. Here's our agenda. And after we present our agenda, we go with our signs. Where are the schools? Where are the schools? Keep our school open. Keep our school, everybody. Have the tea party there. Keep the school open. When they put the mic to our face, hey, why are you guys for fiscal mismanagement? Oh no, we're not here because they promised 32 would keep the schools open. We want our schools open. We got to keep them off balance. There's enough attack inside the party now. The other thing I wanted to say, we have to stop attacking our own. I'm going to say this before I sit down and the sheriff comes. Hello, Sheriff Jones, welcome. We have to stop attacking our own. We have to stop attacking our own. Let me ask you this. Have you ever misstepped in your life? Ever? Any perfect person except for me, because I'm a pastor. I have never decided, but anybody in this room ever make a mistake? Yeah, we all make mistakes. Our own, people who give for the good of our party, they've been giving for years or decades, if they have a misstep, what we need to do is quietly, privately, hey, sober up, or why are you doing this? Instead of going public right away, Facebook, how dare they, it's a terrible... Express an opinion, refocus a philosophy, but let's not kill our own. Right now there is national leadership talking about things of the party that aren't really nice. People who helped to win things in the past. What we need to do is sober them up and say, hey, you know what, you're part of us. We don't agree on what you just said, but we're not going to do that publicly. Write them some letters, send them some emails, nice ones, and say, hey, we've had victory before, we know you're exhausted, we know you want victory again, and so do we, but we have to stick to our principles. And we have to get our heroes back. One of the heroes is standing in the back of the room right now, and he's about to take this podium. We have a sheriff in our county that is a hero. No, there's a senator, nationally recognized senator of the other party, who's been accused of underage prostitution in another country. The head of the Senate, no, he's not just sitting here, the head of the Senate stood next to him. I trust in this man. I saw it, this is a good man. And I know that he will be exonerated. Now, if he's prosecuted, 30 seconds later, they'll be, what senator? But until he's prosecuted, they're best friends. They eat dinner together. I know this guy. I trust this guy to date my daughter. And they're beating the daylights out of us.
Yes.
I'm asking you that we would return to another principle that Jesus taught us, which is mercy. Mercy. John chapter 8. Jesus is standing in front of people who are accusing him, and they say, hey, we caught this woman in adultery all by herself. Have you ever noticed that? Yeah, they brought her for justice. What are you going to do about this? We caught her in adultery. Just her? You know what I mean? It was a setup, and Jesus knew it. What did Jesus do? Yeah, let's hurl rocks. Give me one. No. He started to write on the ground. You know what I think he wrote on the ground? He wrote the whole law down, I think. That's one of the, he could have written many things, but it says in the dust he wrote something. The actual Old Testament law says that if someone is caught in adultery, there need to be 2 or 3 witnesses, and if they're caught, both need to die. So maybe he said, and the law says both need to die. Who was she sleeping with? Bring him to, let's stone them both. And then from the oldest to the youngest, they dropped their stones, and they stopped this stupid vigilante justice. And they went to their homes knowing they were trying to trap someone, and he wouldn't go for it. When are we as a party going to stop getting trapped? How many times are we going to hurl stones at our own and think we're going to win? they're doing it to beat us. They're not hurling stones at their own. They got that principle right. They're really merciful to all their own sinners. Let's do the same for ours. And as I was going to say, it is good. It is good that we are a people who want morality. Please don't get me wrong. We need to be a moral people. Our country needs to return to moral principles. We need moral leadership. That's not the point. The point is, let's not do it in the open and give our enemies even more fodder to take attention to things that really matter. The Supreme Court has been deliberating something this week. How important is that in the global balance of what's happening right now? Cyprus, the banks just opened today, 300 euro withdrawals a day. No money can leave the country. People had over 100,000 euro in the bank, lost 40% of their value overnight. That's significant. What's our government doing about that? Nothing. Will that affect us? Yeah. How many of you know that the jobless rate doesn't matter in America anymore? Everybody's working. Aren't you all working? Everybody's working. Yeah.
They're getting better.
Things are great. Our economy's back. It's just phenomenal. But it's time to keep the pressure on the leadership and say, hey, you're leading. What are you doing? How long will it be George Bush's fault? God bless all of you. I could go on and on. I'm a preacher politician. I've told this many times. But Scott Jones is here. Thank you for your time. God bless you. I also want to tell you this. I still have a campaign debt. If you want to help me, would you please see me and say, here's $4. You loser. You can call me loser. Just give me money. And I would really appreciate it. I need to turn the corner. I don't have a lot of money. I have about a $12,000 remaining debt. And I'm about to become a liberal and just renege on the debt and not pay it. Just have them chase me all day. But that is it. God bless you. Thank you for listening to me.